explain mental stress. I think you have heard about this, no? Really common and very popular topic. Do you know there is a difference between mental stress and illness? Do you believe that? Mental stress and mental illness. But today I am not going to talk mental illness. I am going to talk mental stress. You can solve this problem from now. Definitely 100% you can do. If you want to be relaxed for the rest of life, you can. If you want to be joyful for the rest of life, you can be. Because it's totally in your control. You are the person, you can solve all the problems that you have. Then, dear Dhamma friends, today you have to focus your attention to mental illness. Definitely you can solve these problems. Then, according to modern psychology, I'm not going to explain in a psychological way because already you know you can get so many information from ChatGPT or wherever because technology is very higher. But remember one thing, if technology is developed, it can't do something. Because if you want to practice something, you need to engage with human touch. Because if somebody cultivates loving kindness like that, how you can get that experience from ChatGPT or wherever? You can't. Then if you want to get a real loving kindness, you have to engage with the people. Not only, if you want to recognize bad thoughts like hatred, delusion, aggressive, how you can recognize that? Can you recognize that from ChatGPT? No. You have to engage with the people. Then only you can understand their behavior, how they behave like that. Then, dear Dhamma friends, then mental stress, according to psychology, modern psychology, mental stress is defined as a state of emotional or mental strain or tension resulting from demanding situations like that, no? That's the modern psychology explained in that way. But as well as especially when a person feels they don't have the resources to cope, then what we think when we suffer through mental stress, we think that I am the only person who is going to be through depression, anxiety, stress or problems. But the truth is, if you see the world, there are millions and millions of people who are struggling and who are suffering in mental day-to-day life with mental stress like that. So as well as you have to think, it is not your suffering, it is not only my suffering, and we all are suffering. We all are suffering always, remember. And there is a very well-known statement preached by the Buddha. Remember this word. Where there is birth, there is suffering. That's the reality. Again, I want you to remind one thing. Where there is birth, there is suffering. That's the reality. Then mental stress is what? Natural happening. It depends on the various situations. If you are in struggle something, mental stress comes to our mind. Which kind of situations? According to modern psychology, they have mentioned acute stress. It's acute stress. you can see, short-term stress that comes suddenly due to a specific situation. Like before exam, job interview, acute stress. This is not actually illness, this is stress. Try to understand this. You can solve. If you can maintain your mind, you can solve this problem very quickly. And chronic stress, what else? Emotional stress and social stress, work-related stress and financial stress. Different kind of stress when you are in this society. What are the situation? Which kind of situation? Accidents and toxic environment due to job demands and so many came from social pressures, fear of judgment, public speaking like this. This is a kind of mental stress when you public speak, as well as social media comparison, discrimination, criticism. That you have mental stress. But remember always, again I want you to mention, this is not illness, this is stress, temporary. You can maintain. If you have a proper guideline, if you have a strong mind, definitely you can change. Then, dear friends, now I have come to Buddha's point of view on mental stress. So, then, according to Buddha's point of view, don't worry about the Pali words. I have highlighted that. You can see that. Sabbe Putajjana Ummattaka. Don't worry about the Pali words. The Buddhism teaches us that we are all, in a way, mad. Not because we have a mental illness, but mental stress. Then, according to Buddha's point of view, this is in Buddhism, stress is rooted in a deeper concept, like dukkha, unsatisfactoriness or suffering. Then, furthermore, the Buddha taught that dukkha is a fundamental part of existence, and much of our stress comes from clinging to what we want. Sometimes we want so many things, not enough. We are searching so many things. Now you are sitting. What's your next movement? Next activity? What is that? Next searching. You want to stand. Every time you want to see different experience. You can't in the same situation. You want to move. Right? If you are stand, what's the next? Sometimes you want to work. Or go to bed. Or you want to talk. If you are talking, can you talk 1 day or 2 days like that? No. If you are talking, you want to silent. You need to be silent. Therefore, you can see this is not dependent situation. No? Dependent situation. That's why I earlier mentioned don't find happiness. What will happen if you are searching happiness? Automatically, you will meet sadness. It's like a circle. Think about your life in a day. Sitting, chatting, talking. You want to move every moment. That means you are searching something. You are searching something. Including my life too. You are searching different kind of experience, happiness, but you can't find that. That's the reality. Then the highlighted one, from craving arises sorrow, from craving arises fear. That's the kind of a statement reached by the Buddha. From craving arises sorrow, from craving arises fear. And symptoms or result. If you are struggling mental stress, others can understand. And you also can understand. The Buddha never said, don't feel stress. Don't feel stress. You feel that. Doesn't matter. That's a natural happening after all beings who live in circle of journey. Natural happening. Don't try to give up that. And don't feel stress. Instead of, he said, know it, you have to realize it. This is this. Like that you need to realize. And understand it. Know it, understand it, and let go of it. That's the technical methods the preached by the Buddha. Also I mentioned the cause of suffering is craving, clinging. We can identify 3 causes of mental stress from the Buddhist view. According to Buddha's teaching, the first one is attachment. This is called very common word, tanha, attachment, like greediness. If you try to attach something, automatically you have a mental stress. Whatever, job, exam, or person, like that. Then aversion, like hatred. This is hatred as a kind of a cause. If you have a hatred, earlier I mentioned, if you are struggling hatred, you want to move your movement. You try to hurt the people, then you are struggling. That's the rejecting what we dislike. And delusion, not seeing things as they are really way. Those are the causes or root. The Buddha once upon a time asked from the monks, if someone is struck by arrow, is it painful? Then what was the reply of monks? They said, yes. Then the second time he asked, if they are struck by a second arrow in the same place, is it more painful? Yes, it is more painful. Then Buddha replied, or Buddha said to the community of Sangha, the disciples, in that way, the first arrow is the pain of life, like illness, loss, disappointment. What is the second arrow? Is how we respond with blame, anger, regret, self-pity. Then there is a wonderful story preached by the Buddha. I'm not going to explain more and more classification, but simply I would like to mention, because of greediness, what is happened to our mind. Once upon a time, the Bodhisattva, or meaning the before enlightenment, was born of wise and virtues. He practiced several kind of practices, precepts, as well as living peacefully in the mountains. He wore robes made of bark, lived in fruits and roots, and cultivated deep concentration and wisdom. He practiced so many good things, but he was in God's. He had many disciples who respected and followed his teaching. Then one day, while walking through the forest, he stumbled upon an astonishing sight. A mountain of solid gold shining like the sun. Imagine that, okay? Imagine that situation. This is story. Don't depend on how he happened, live like this. Don't argue. That is also mental stress kind of. They try to get message on. They try to get message. The entire mountain was made of pure. Yet hidden deep within the wildness, the Bodhisattva looked at and reflected, this gold could bring immense wealth to many people. But in world also bring great conflict and suffering if the others find it. They will fight over. If you have a good thing, if we are trying to fight with others, kill others, if you have a good will, they will fight over it and kill for it and fall into unwholesome states. So what did he do? Out of compassion for the world, he turned his back on the golden mountain and walked away without taking even a grain of gold. He told his disciples this word. Okay, you can see highlighted one. What did he say? Better to be content and free than to be rich and insulted by greed. Later, after many days ago, a hunter came by and found golden mountain. What was happened? News spread quickly. And many people rushed to the spot. Soon there was chaos, fight broke out, people lied and cheated. Someone was killed over a piece of gold, and the mountain eventually became a place of misery, not happiness. Now you can see what was happening because of greed. If you are struggling greediness, then you are trying to kill others. When I conclude this story, in moral of the story, greed leads to suffering. True wealth is not gold but content and wisdom. Even great treasures bring harm approached with unwholesome intention, like that. You can understand because of your greediness or stress, what will happen? You try to kill others, you are thinking in many ways, then you are struggling. Greediness, then you are trying to do bad things. Then try to avoid. We have another one wonderful story, short. The monk and the bowl. You know, monks use bowl when they eat, kind of a bowl. A monk had a beautiful alms bowl. One day it cracked. He was upset or sad. The Buddha asked, "Did you think this bowl would never break?" Then this is the root of stress. Expecting is permanent to be, impermanent to be permanent. Remember that. Again I repeat, again and again I repeat, important one. Remember this statement. What's the root? This is the root of stress. What? Expecting the impermanent to be permanent. You think you try to protect everything forever, but you can't do that. Then expecting the permanent to be impermanent to be permanent. Like monks had a beautiful alms bowl. It cracked. He was sad. That is why Buddha asked, "Did you think this bowl would never break?" Like that. Apply in your day-to-day life. Letting go doesn't mean give up. Don't be misunderstood. Don't misunderstand about the statement. Impermanence is not like give up all the things, but you have to protect your family, your children, your husband, wife, your other day-to-day requirements. You need to protect. Try to understand. In this moment also, these are changing. Everything is changing. Nobody can control. Nobody can control impermanence. That's a nature. You have to obey. You have to respect it. If you can develop compassion and wisdom, you can maintain your mental stress. Then the final. If you have, then now you know what is mental stress and you know the causes of that. You have three causes like hatred, delusion, ignorance, like that. What is the solution? Now you have a solution. Living in the present. freedom from stress. Like this, don't grieve over the past, don't long for the future. Live wisely in the present. By doing so, one's mind becomes radiant. This is the teaching you can practice in your day-to-day. Try to focus to current moment. And furthermore, the past is gone. Thinking about is only creates harm. You think you are struggling, past thought done by yourself, it is unnecessary. Try to give up. The future is uncertain. Worrying about the creates anxiety. You think about your future. You don't know what will happen next minute, no? Sometimes you don't know that, no? But we imagine, overthinking about your future. Then try to give up that. The present is the only place where we can truly live. A person who lives mindfully in the present moment will shine with calmness and clarity. This is perhaps the most direct antidote to mental stress in all of Buddhist teaching. Then finally, you have one method you can practice. If you can mindfully about your thoughts, like becoming mindful about your thoughts, another method. Try to understand your thoughts. Notice that. What is happening? You can practice wherever regular. Use the breath to center your mind. Here, there at Indiana Buddhist Temple also we practice breath meditation every Thursday, loving kindness meditation on Monday. You can practice, you can calm. You can release your mental stress by using meditation like this. You don't want to convert your religion or philosophy, your belief, your faith, confidence. You don't want to change that, but just practice. Whatever meditation, yoga or whatever you can release, you can understand, you can notify your bad thoughts, your mental stress. Then I'd like to invite on behalf of our Bhante Pannasara, the abbot of Indiana Buddhist Temple, you can come, you can practice meditation and contemplate impermanence, everything changes. Let them change. Another method, let them change. Let your thoughts change. Then only you can strom your mind. You can maintain your mind and let go of what you cannot control. Embrace equanimity, see life with a steady heart. So then, time has come to stop my presentation today of Dhamma talk. Mental stress is real, but it is not permanent. With mindfulness, wisdom and compassion, we can understand it, care for it and release it. As the Buddha said, by oneself is evil done. Earlier mentioned, you want to be relaxed for the rest of life, you can be. Because you are the person who can solve your problems. Then by oneself is evil done, by oneself is one purified. Purify and impurity depend on oneself. No one can purify another. You are the person. You can guide your life. May you work with gentleness. May your stress become your teacher. Another important thing. May you work with gentleness or mindfully. May your stress become your teacher.